Day 2.
That was day 2, in case you didn't hear it, because Alex was too quiet. It's been a pretty full-on day. There's been lots of stuff that we've been doing. We started this morning by going back over Jeremiah 29, and one of the things that struck me in particular was the fact that Alex had noticed that it keeps on mentioning that God says, I will, I have, I promise, I declare. The whole thing rests on the promises of God and His sovereignty and the fact that He remains faithful. So that was really cool to kind of look at that as a precursor to also looking at Daniel later on this afternoon, and where some people get the just strength and ability to be able to stand in the face of idolatry. So those were kind of some of the two biblical things that we looked at throughout today. What were some of the other things that we did?
We capitalised on the opportunity to enjoy coffee.
Yes.
In town, we went
Always
to
good.
the Elephant House, where J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter, apparently, because it was cheaper to go to the cafe and sit there during the winter rather than turn on the heating in her own house.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that, and what else did we do today? We visited Greyfriars Cemetery, and we did that after we read Daniel. So we were looking at in Daniel what it means to be a person of integrity, particularly a person who is characterized by godly conviction and character. And so then we went to the cemetery to actually learn a bit about, I guess, people who had shown that in their life and actually died for the sake of Christ, and stood up to different people in authority and said, I refuse to acknowledge you as my master because I serve Jesus Christ, who is higher. So
I think one of the things that really struck me about that is, I don't know what you think about Edinburgh as a culture or Scottish people, but I had certainly never known that a part of their history was that 18,000 people in the 1800s across Edinburgh, let alone the rest of the people in Scotland, actually died for the fact that they said that they would not worship the king as the head of the church, that only Jesus was the head of the church. And I just never knew that that was a part of Scottish history and persecution. So it was just really interesting to see that and to stand in the cemetery, in the monuments, about where people were trying to remember those who stood before them. So that was really amazing and really humbling to kind of be there and learn those things.
And then following on from that, we wrote our own epitaph, which I don't know if mine's actually going to end up like that, but...
Are you going to tell people what it was?
It actually had my full name on it, so I guess my parents will be happy that I actually used my full name. So to Alexandra Claire Jones, who made us laugh, but above all was made for Christ. Living for Him, through Him, and now with Him. So that's mine. I don't know if you can remember yours.
I can't really remember mine, and it wasn't
Jodie
that
doesn't even want to be in a grave anyway, so...
Note to everyone, I would like to be cremated and
above
scattered.
the exercise.
I was not above the exercise, I just find it hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, from the cemetery, we spend some time tonight thinking about communication and the ways in which we use words, whether it's on paper or when we're face to face. What were some of the things that you took from that?
I guess it was a reflection that we were looking at what we do when we write and communicate and things that we think about. And so for those of you who secretly follow my blog, and now I've all told you that I actually have one, so you can go and find it for yourself. But I only write when I know that I have time to devote to it, because I'm very particular, and I can only start the next sentence when I'm happy with the previous one. But then probably one of the most important things for me when I write is knowing that whoever is reading it can actually hear my voice. So that includes sidetracks and silly jokes and that kind of thing, because that characterises a lot of how I interact verbally with people, so that's important for me when I write. And I think it was just about being able to know how best to communicate, and then following on from that, I guess, how we would apply that to communicating our faith and the gospel.
I think I realise that I often think structurally very differently about communication. So when I write stuff down, when I blog, I try and convey something of experience and facts, but often when I'm dealing with people, I try and encourage and inspire, and I want to paint a bigger picture. And so the challenge for me now is to think, how am I going to bring those two together in not only the content of what I want to communicate, but the ways in which I do it. So that was, that was a good thing to reflect on tonight. We partly did that via Star Trek and The West Wing, which is an unusual combination, but one that was, it was an interesting exercise.
Well, listen, I've spent 23 years of my life without ever having seen a Star Trek movie, and
same, that was my first one. That was my first Star Trek.
Well, there you go.
Well.
I appreciate the exercise, but should I live another 23 years without having seen another episode, I will not feel less of a person anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there was a good message behind both the videos.
Yeah. So that is kind of the end of a big day 2. I personally am very, very tired and looking forward to getting some more sleep tonight. I realised, I think part of the reason why I'm tired is the concentration of listening and trying to interpret through other people's
Ideas?
No, not ideas, their accents. It just goes to show that part of communication is how you...
Lucky we don't have someone who with sign language. Just be like, what?
Yeah, because I don't do that. So anyway, hopefully you guys are getting these videos and getting glimpses.
One last thing, this is proof that I actually have hugged Jodie on your behalf several times.
Yes, I've gotten hugs from various specific people. Feel free to send her SMSs over the next couple of days. And
if you have hugging techniques that you'd like me to share with Jodie so that she knows you are the hug giver,
as long as
I'm
they don't
happy to
hurt
take
me.
that. Someone. Too late, Jeanette. We've already done it.
Night.
See you.